power of this technology goes so far beyond what like the typical like table conversation about VR gives it credit for. You know, like we talk about it as like a useful tool or an immersive, fun experience, but what we're talking about is like truly transformational.
It should be perfectly possible to trick your brain into any experience if your brain can already do that itself naturally. So VR is almost like taking that ability for our brain to generate any experience for us and like putting it in our hands, which is wild.
Man, that's something in the history books. People are going to look back and be like, yeah, 2022, 2023. That's when education, after hundreds of years, finally upgraded.
We're in a strange time where our physical worlds are intersecting with our digital identities, and right now is a time to kind of determine what you want that to be.
Once you have full body tracking that works well and it's frictionless, right? Meaning it's easy to do.
Yes.
It's a whole new, it's not a game changer, it's a whole new game.
So maybe there will be some other people who would be curious to see what I'm learning, what I'm discovering, so to say. And that's how the Discover YouTube channel started.
Oh, not really disco VR, Discover.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel bad when people ask me about VR, or they're like, what do you do? Like, all right, you asked, here it comes.
I love VR, but I love going out and breathing fresh air. And not only was I stuck in VR for 10 days, I was stuck in one room because I was streaming, the same space. I didn't see the sunlight. I totally lost track of what time everything was.
She dances with the robot. She does the first steps. She dances with that robot. She takes that thing off her face. I have the video. I'm holding it hostage. But she takes it off her head and she says, I gotta have it.
There are a few moments in my life I can remember very vividly. The day I got married, the day my kids were born, the day Facebook announced that they bought Oculus is one of those days. I was making chili.
I've been in a lot of gaming communities, and the VR community is by far the best community that I've ever been involved with.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Between Realities VR podcast. You look great today, everybody.
Yeah,
I gotta say, you all look amazing.
Sexy audience we have.
Dude, don't even get me started on that, all right? Because we'll be here all day.
Beautiful people.
We will be. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. It is Friday, right? Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
July 21st, 2023, the year of our Lord. And
July 21st, man,
dude,
tomorrow's
we are closer.
Tomorrow's my birthday.
No shit.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Well, not yet. I mean, happy almost birthday.
Tomorrow.
Can we celebrate Skiva's birthday today, everybody? Because we're not going to be here tomorrow. Like, today's the day. Happy pre-birthday to Skiva, the true homie.
Appreciate it.
The legit, most badass VR guy out there. Like, fight me if you have anything to say. Wow. So you're going to be, let me guess, 42.
Nope.
Oh, no. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. 43. No! 44?
I know. I'm going to get my senior discount starting tomorrow now.
Dude, I didn't realize you were so old. This is too much.
I know.
My name's Alex, by the way. Hi, that's Skiva. We've already established that. I didn't really introduce us there, you know?
That's okay. Hopefully people know who we are.
Everybody who is currently watching this show this is not their first episode, right? Right? Anybody's first episode out there? If this is your first episode of Between Realities, it is your obligation to reach out to us either in the comments in the live chat or in the post comments or by email and let us know, hey, that Zimtok episode, oh, I already said it. That Zimtok episode is the first one that I ever watched. And we need to know that. Well, we're live right now on YouTube, but this podcast is available on all of your favorite podcast platforms, Spotify, iTunes, even Audible, believe it or not.
Not on Audible. It's like the thing. It's not on Audible. It's on Anchor.
Silence, birthday boy. We are official Upload VR correspondents here at Between Realities, meaning that you can catch our episodes on the front page of Upload VR on the weekends. And maybe that's when you're listening to this right now. You saw this on Upload. You're like, you know what? I'm listening to this one. And you're just chilling there in Upload. And we invite you to stay with Upload and with us for this incredible episode that we have planned for the day. Saying hello now to everybody who is joining us in the live chat. So exciting. Thank you guys for being here. I saw Gamertag VR like earlier, like this morning in the chat.
What's up, GT?
Yeah, saying something along the lines of like, man, this show just gets the coolest guys as guests on it. And then he like was kind of insinuating that maybe we should have Gamertag again as a guest on Between Realities again.
I'm always down for GT. I mean, I think he's been there. Wow. I think he's been there on the show twice, maybe 3 times, but I think...
At least twice.
Yeah?
I think twice.
I'm always happy to have GT. I love me some GT. And the highlight of my Monday, the highlight of my week, besides Between Realities, is always hanging out on the Crewcast, man, with the homies, you know?
That's right.
I really love hopping on there with GT and the Virtual Strangers guys and Eric and Sallius Bradley and like, oh man, I just love.
You know, we do that every Monday for the record, peoples. Steve and I are both regulars on the VR Crewcast that is hosted by Gamertag VR. There's a whole separate YouTube channel for it, the VR Crewcast. Check that out during the week because it's not the same show as this, and we have a lot of fun with it.
Yep.
So anyway, hi chat. It's good to see you guys. GT of course was here. Qcreator saying the weekend. Has he ever been wrong?
I don't think he has.
I think he's
batting.
He's batting 100.
Batting 100?
Yeah.
Nice.
He's batting 100.
Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I guess we'll see if he ever is wrong ever in just a few short weeks because he'll be joining us for the Game On Expo.
He will. That's right. He's going to be in Phoenix. What a crazy guy. It's 117 degrees here, which is what, 48 Celsius or 47 Celsius?
Your guess is as good as mine.
It's really, really high and it's really hot and a place where most people should probably not live during these months. But with this heat wave, it's just pretty crazy, and it's, you know, usually by the end of August it's 117 or 118 or, you know, even higher. So
it's hot here in Phoenix, but we're doing Game On Expo anyway. We're gonna have 14 to 15 simultaneous headsets running in a 40 by 40 space, showing PlayStation VR 2, showing all the latest headsets, and it's gonna be a great time. It is an open invitation, by the way. If any of you guys want to come out to visit us in Phoenix, you are welcome to come say hi and hang out with us.
Heck yeah.
We'll put you to work if you really want us to. So anyway, moving on, getting things done is here. That's Jay Dunn. He's the real
Jay Dunn. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Can I just say I love Jay Dunn and Joy Rain?
Heck yeah. That? What an amazing duo those guys are, man.
They are.
They're just such sweet people, high energy. I love their show. I love getting them to the metaverse.
Me too.
And just them as people.
Yeah, they're great. Douglas K's in the house, dropping in early. Wolf Raza, as always, in the house. Love your support, Wolf Raza. Thanks for being here. German Rifter. Bro, I miss you. It's really great to see you in the chat right now. Thanks for coming out. It's okay if you have to dip or you fall asleep or whatever. I know it's late for you, but we appreciate you coming by and being a part of the show. Classy Grandma in the house, our #1 fan.
Classy, how are you?
She's so classy.
I hope you're well.
She is classy, man. Arcanian is here in the house as well. That's right.
What's up, Arcanian?
Basically guessing that we would be delayed due to technical reasons, which,
why would that be?
Well, he says because Zim is involved. That's what he said.
Oh, geez.
I know. That's messed up.
Wow.
I know. That's messed up. But anyway, Arcanian, from now on, you're giving us the benefit of the doubt. Right? Vulcanary is here. Vulcaniary. Is that right? You have to let me know if I got that right. Red/Ace is here. That's our buddy Peter.
What's up, Peter?
Yes. Mr. and Mrs. Grey Wolf.
Hey.
That's right.
What's up, guys?
They're the best. They're here.
The best.
Hussein X is in the house.
Hey, Hussein. How are you?
Laszlo 216 representing Cleveland as always.
What's up?
Eric Q2C VRG.
Eric, dude. My dude.
Are there any more homies than him? I don't know.
I don't think so, man. Really Eric's the real deal.
Kenzie Gaming is in the house.
Kenzie, what's
Arizona
up, man?
VR brethren.
Yeah, we'll see you at Game On Expo as well, dude.
Yeah, we got your
Excited
ticket
to see you there.
locked down.
Yep, we do. You and your lovely fiance.
That's right. Samson. 143 VR of the Let's Talk Oculus podcast. He is here. Scott Albright from Ghosts of Tabor.
Boom.
Dude.
What's up, man?
Dropping $100 to start the inevitable donation train that earns us the most amount of money we've ever made on a single episode. Scott, dude, thank you for your support.
Man. Thank you.
That means the world to us.
Appreciate you.
And we will do you proud. I promise.
Absolutely.
We will talk about Ghost of Tabor every single episode, okay?
Well, yeah, whether you were here or not, honestly, it's, you know, I know. I just can't help it. It's like a sickness.
It is, dude. It is. You're sick. Loco Limbo's in the house. What's up? Said that they love our intro. Thank you. You know, those are not easy to put together. I watch a lot of episodes looking for like that little
nuggies.
That little nugget, yeah. Recycled is here. Good to see you, Recycled. Substatica in the house as well, of course.
Hello.
Love seeing Substatica here. Kyle Render, what's up?
Hey, Kyle.
Says, I remember these guys. We remember you too, dude.
Yeah, man. How's it going?
It's good to see you.
Miss you, man.
Yeah, let's hang out. Destity11, happy birthday, Skiva.
Aw, thank you so much.
That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got a birthday, dude. Tomorrow. God,
jeez,
so old.
1 year closer to the end of this game, man.
Tell me about it. Yeah, it's weird how there's like a correlation there.
I know.
The older you are, the higher your chance.
It's a GG, so not looking forward to it, but man.
It is a GG.
Mm-hmm.
It is a GG. Yep. It'll be sad, you know. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. Okay, you're alive and well, sitting next to me. We're doing a show. What are you trying to do here? Give me an emotional reaction. Creeper Betty. Hi, Creeper Betty. She's going to be here in Phoenix with us. That's right.
Yes.
Can't wait.
Man, all of these people, and so is Eric, and like all of these people coming in to sweat their butt off and like work hard for like just to hang out.
Peanuts.
Yeah. We love you guys.
Michelle B. What's up, Michelle
what's
B?
up? How
Good
are
to
you,
see
Michelle?
you. Jose, the VR tech.
Jose, what's up, dude?
I like it.
How are you, man?
I like it. Thanks for coming through, bro. And
Jose, the last time we did one of these, I think I pinged Jose for a technical thing, and he helped me out. Jose, we should throw your logo up on the VR experience we're putting on because you know.
That's a good idea.
I love Reboot Imagine, and I love F.Reality, and I love you, dude.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Yep.
Kyle Render dropping $9.99 in a super chat.
Hey,
now,
thanks, dude.
Saying going for a new record for BR donations. Hey, I like you. I like you. Again, the obligatory. Please don't feel pressured to donate, people.
Yes,
your presence here is more than enough for us. However, pay us. Give us the money. All right. So, what do you think, Skiva? Do you feel like we were comprehensive enough there? I feel pretty good.
I think so.
It's kind of hard because the chat just kind of jumps around on me from time to time, you know. But I feel pretty good. Ryan B, I see you, dude. Yeah.
Hey.
I see it. And Soren as well. Hey, Soren. Thanks for dropping.
How's it going?
All right. Well, another exciting episode lined up today.
Yes.
Because we have a guest who, this is like, normally I feel like I do a pretty good job of like keeping the lid on stuff. You know, like I like don't say the guest's name before we introduce them. I don't, you know, I like
nobody
tell
knows
anybody weeks in advance or anything.
We never put out a thumbnail with their face on it or anything.
Yeah, but I just like to preserve the integrity of the experience. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But yeah, that kind of went out the window today.
Immersion.
Kind of went out the window for our guest today. $10 super chat, Classy Grandma.
Hey, thank you so much, Classy.
Saying I can't add another zero like Scott, but happy birthday, Skiva. Love you, pal.
Oh, thank you.
Isn't she nice?
Thank you. She's the best. Yeah. What an amazing lady.
She is amazing.
Yeah.
And so is today's guest, someone who has been involved in the VR industry for about as long as anybody. Streaming on Twitch since 2014, if you can believe that. Almost 10 years of being a VR content creator. Like VR hasn't even been here for that long. How's that possible? I don't know. But he's also the what did I say? What's the word I used? He's like the main dude. He's the man at the helm.
The man at the helm
of the popular F.Reality VR podcast that takes place every Saturday. Let's bring him on. Everybody, please welcome to Between Realities, Zimtok5. Hey, is he muted?
No. Hey, lads. What's up?
Well, you didn't say anything. I was like waiting for it, and you're just like,
you don't have to. Look at that face, man. You don't have to say anything.
Just basking in the glory.
How you doing, lads? And happy birthday, Skiva.
Oh, thanks so much, dude. I'm well.
We're
How
doing
are you?
Good.
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm always good.
Good.
Still recovering from the last big hug we had in California. You lifted me clean off the ground, about the same height as I am. You know, so it was good.
Not something that happens.
It was like a Dirty Dancing scene or something.
You know? When we were in Austin, homeboy from Neolithic Dawn, what's his name? I feel bad for not remembering his name right now.
Oh,
the developer of Neolithic Dawn.
Yeah, the developer of Neolithic Dawn. James.
I'm so glad I said it before you. Okay, whoo! James from Neolithic Dawn.
Put me on the spot.
Hey, we got it. We got it. He brought his brother to the Resolution Games VR party, and his brother had he was having a good time. Maybe had a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
And everybody's hugging goodbye, and he goes for the Skiva hug, and James's brother from Neolithic Dawn goes to lift Skiva like you're talking about, but he's now lifting Skiva, and this dude is not as tall as you, Zim.
Yeah.
And
didn't end well.
Let's just say it didn't end well.
Was there an ambulance involved?
He pulled back, and it was just like boom. Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God, did I kill him?
I know.
Oh no, but he was alive. I was alive. And we didn't go through. And the front of that building is all glass too. It could have been bad. But yeah. Thanks, Resolution. And please invite us back next time.
Yeah, exactly. So you know what I know we were technically invited back to that we didn't have a chance to attend this year that I'm so excited to ask Zim about is VRTO.
Yeah.
You were just at VRTO in Toronto. Is that how far is that from you? Can you just do you live in Toronto? Like how far from Toronto are you?
About an hour.
Okay, that's not too bad.
So no. It's totally doable. 2-day conference, and it was incredible this year. It was really good. Last year was quite educational in terms of how it felt. It was kind of like a university campus style feel to the room. But this time they got this really awesome co-working space is what it's supposed to be, but it felt more like kind of an art museum, like really neo, just awesome. And there was all this AI generated art on the walls, and the cross section of people there was better than I've ever had at a VR event.
Dang, that's a bold statement.
It felt like what I hope VR will be in, i.e. the VR community, where we'll get to in 5 or 10 years. It was that good. And I really don't think that we're close to that yet. So it was a beautiful, bubbling pot of people. And for 2 days, the one thing I would say about the event is, man, they things were starting off at 9 and going until 7 at night. And we had little breaks, but other than that, it was hard to even network at the event itself. There was an after party, which I went to as well, but man.
Oh, just because the programming was just you have to be here, then you have to be here, then you have to be here, then you have to be here kind of thing?
Yeah, but you weren't running around. It was mostly all in the kind of same place. They had a demo floor as well. But I'll tell you, in terms of VR creators and all that, I was the only one there, man. There was nobody. There was nobody else from that side of things.
Yeah, I had super FOMO, man. I really wanted to be, because I was there last year and it was incredible. And then I just kept seeing all the pictures and the amazing people that said they were there. And I planned on going. I had something come up. I couldn't leave and get there. But I really wanted to be.
We had such a good time last year. Yeah. And it's honestly really when we were able to forge the bond with you, Zimtok. We knew each other, we're in each other's DMs and stuff, but we never really and you and I met at OC6 also. But that was just so early in my stuff, and
back when you were a Jack Russell Terrier with a microphone.
That's right.
Alex. I'm Alex. That was good.
Yeah, I was running around. Yeah, I was 25 to 30 pounds lighter.
Oh, and I see Dean and Bren in the chat, which Dean. Is it Dean? That's always there?
It's got to be Dean.
Yeah. Dean's got to be behind the account there. But yeah, Dean was there last year, and I saw pictures of him there at VRTO again this year too. So
nice. Yeah, last year was a great time connecting with Zim and connecting with Blair and the rest of the VR Canadian group, Ashley and Stephanie. And
it was great watching that street brawl with Skiva and Blair. I mean, I never thought it would turn out that way. It was great.
I know. It was.
Lots of buildings were damaged, and
it's like King Kong and Godzilla.
It was. It was great. It was good to mend that, and really get to understand his point of view and be able to explain my side as well. And he's a good dude. He's just just outspoken and.
I guess season 7 is the it's the VRTO guest roundup. We got Blair, now we got Zim.
Yeah.
Yeah, quick shout. I mean, like when I first moved to Canada, it was a really nice out of the blue thing. Both Blair and Ashley Huffman from Titan Haptics, they both reached out to the point where, if you have like a stranger reach out, you're like, are these guys gonna scam me? Like, what's going on? It was like too nice, and it was very Canadian, and it was like incredibly touching that people would like reach out and bring me under their wing into this nested group where I had no real friends in the country. I mean, Rowdy was in Montreal, but count him a friend. He's more of an enemy. But
yeah, he's like your brother. Like you love him, but also
exactly right, exactly. So, but yeah, just that was very special. And over the last year, it's been fantastic to have a place you can go out and like be with people, hang out with VR stuff, talk VR.
Totally.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And not have to get on a plane, right? That's nice.
Scotland was not a place for VR, really. There were no events. You had to go to London or down south to Birmingham or something if you wanted to do anything fun. So yeah, it's great having that in my backyard now.
$20 super chat from VR Central. That's our homie Wise Director.
Hey, thanks so much, man.
Thanks,
Appreciate you, Wise.
And he says, happy birthday, Skiva, from your Impact bro.
Yeah.
Oh,
heck yeah, man.
That's just lovely.
Yeah, Wise works with us over at Impact Reality. He's full-time with us and doing great things. So
that's
thanks,
beautiful.
Dude.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks,
you.
man. But yeah, dude, that Canadian VR group, there's something special going on there, bro. Like, I wish I could be like a fly on the wall and they're like private chats and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, because you got, Blair, Ashley, Stephanie. Now you got Zim up in there. There's Dan from Bitspace Studio, who's kind of a part of the Canadian group too. And
I didn't
just
see
met
him last year.
Oh, did you?
He's so cool.
He's
awesome.
awesome.
I love that guy.
Yeah, where did we see him last?
At AWE.
AWE. Yep. That's right. Good dude.
Yeah. So I love that Canadian group, man. I can totally. I wish I could be pulled into that. I guess I got to move to Canada.
Yeah.
if I want to.
I'll come visit you.
Shed your 117 degree Fahrenheit, because that's insanity.
It is insane, bro. Like, if it wasn't for central air conditioning and air conditioning in vehicles, people would die. I mean, I think people do die.
People do die.
Homeless population.
It's a very serious thing. If your AC goes out in Arizona, you need immediate emergency response.
Yeah.
It's very serious. People, especially the elderly, if their AC goes out and it's out overnight, a lot of them don't wake up. It's really sad. I mean, that happens all the time here in the summer. So it's
so brutal.
It's brutal. God. The desert is a brutal
Arizona's
place.
most death metal place ever. So hardcore.
It really is.
So anyway, VRTO was a year ago.
Sin Studio out in Toronto as well.
Oh, nice.
Makers of
the Sin guys
Swordsman.
are cool too.
They are cool. I can't believe I didn't mention them. They were such a good time at that arcade bar that we went to.
Yeah, and Swordsman being an amazing game. So it's one thing to have devs, chilling, but really good ones, are in Toronto. So yeah.
Mickyberr, what's up? Good to see you, bro. Thanks for dropping in.
How are you?
So anyway, that was a year ago, and now you just went to VRTO again, like instantaneous. So it kind of feels like this has been a long time coming at this point, Zim. I'm really glad that we've been able to pull this off, and we've been able to make it work. You're a busy dude. You've got your own stuff going on. You run the F.Reality Podcast on Saturdays, and do you also work? Do you have like a day job or something that keeps you busy?
I didn't win the lottery or anything. So I had a day job and 9 mouths to feed. So I'm a very busy guy. As you said, I think it was about 2 years ago that we probably first talked about this, even before we met up in person. But I've had to decline. And when it comes to podcasts and things, I mean, this is a rare event for me because I have to carve out time in my life to come and do this. It's literally that way. So for those who don't know, I've got 3 kids, 9-year-old, 7-year-old, and a 2-year-old. All of whom game as badass as I do.
Nice. Nice.
A wife and now 2 dogs. So 2 cats as well.
Oh, cool. So
I've got a farm basically. And then on top of that, my work situation, I work for a corporate investment bank. I won't name them, but I can tell you my old job. My old job was head of risk and controls for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And that was my previous job before coming to Canada. And then in the nighttime hours is when I decide to wear fancy pants and entertain Twitch and later YouTube audience. So I'm a bit of a Clark Kent Superman deal. That's just the way it goes.
Self-proclaimed Superman over here. No, but I appreciate the fancy pants. I noticed before we started the show that you are wearing the same shirt on the show as you are in our thumbnail. That's a nice little detail. Yeah, appreciate that. We have our buddy Nathy stopping in, saying, "I'm watching this on a plane. Don't want to miss Jim live."
Oh, what's up, Nathy? How are you?
Good to see you, man. Everybody,
Nathy touring around the country, man.
Yeah,
I just saw him in Marvel Studios. I saw him over at the Meta office. Like
First Contact Entertainment.
First Contact, yeah, dude. Quite the tour there. There's so much. Especially just in California. You can just bounce from place to place to place. It's so awesome. Very cool.
When Nathy tours, he and his brother they go hard. Like nice. Whether it's the Asian tour or now he's been chomping at the bit. That's an Irish saying, but he's been chomping at the bit to get back into North America. And now that he finally can, man, he's doing a good show of it.
Absolutely.
Doing what Nathy does best, So.
Dude, cool. Make the most out of that plane ticket. You're gonna take the time, like, capitalize.
Yep.
And he really is like inspiring in terms of that. Like, we go and travel, we go to events and stuff, but we kind of just like go to the event and like stay focused on that. But that's not Nathy's way. Like, he will be like, okay, what companies are in this state? Like, I'm going to see them after this event is done, and like really capitalizes. So that's inspiring stuff.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
Rayla is here. Thanks for dropping in, Rayla.
Hey there.
Nice it's good to see you. And of course, Obscure Nerd VR, our buddy
hey, Andy. How's it going, Andy?
Yeah, and Endeavor One also. What's up, fam?
Hey.
Yo,
how are you?
Good to see you.
Rayla's the wife, by the way. Just
oh, really? Oh,
in case I say anything naughty.
Hi, Mrs. Zim.
Jump on my case. That's right. That's Mrs. Zim.
That's all right. Mrs. Zim.
And Ashley too. What's up, Ashley?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, give her the program, bro.
Did you already say?
She's been chilling, bro.
Oh, all right. My bad.
Yeah, she's been chilling. So yeah, I mean, we kind of said it earlier, but like, you're like one of the OG Twitch streamers in VR. Like, is that like? I mean, how did this happen? Right? Like, were you streaming already? Were you doing like flat screen gaming, or did VR kind of inspire you to become a content creator? And what did the landscape look like when you did get up and running?
Jesus, there was not a lot. So I started off. We moved from London to Edinburgh in Scotland, and I'm just trying to get out of the city really to kind of start a family. So with our first daughter having arrived, and then DK2, we had the whole information that Facebook was acquiring Oculus, and I'd had my eye on it thanks to Carmack and my infatuation with QuakeCon, and I've been a Quake player since way back when I lived in the Caribbean. Used to get my 28.8 modem dialed up and with 400 ping jumping around corners with a rocket launcher. So that was like, that's where I started, back with dot matrix printers and all that stuff. So Twitch really became something where I wanted to be able to share with people, like just this cool new thing. But streaming is very much a two-way street. Like, it's not me for them. There's a selfish element to it as well, because it's like, if something's new and it's configuration rich, like back then with Elite Dangerous and the DK2 and the Oculus tools, like, you didn't even have tray tools back then. Like, this was early days, right? So there were a lot of enthusiasts who knew a hell of a lot more than I did. And I had started maybe 2 months earlier just toying around with Twitch, because you might think, hey, if you live in London, you've got a great internet connection. But man, I did not. I was right next to the financial district, but like, I had a 4 meg connection. It was like, you can't stream on that. So when I moved to Edinburgh, I had, I don't know what it was. It was like maybe a 50 meg or 30 meg connection. I was like, wow, I can stream with this. I could share it. My wife's like, yeah, go ahead and do that. So I tinkered around with a few things like Unturned and Assetto Corsa and just some flat games for about 2 months. And then that summer, when my DK2 actually showed up, I got to rewind here in a second, because I got to tell you about my trial with the DK1. But long story short, I had started a little bit of flat like testing, but then basically, I had a chat with the wife, and it was like, hey, why not just share and to continue to share. So when I started, I was doing 6 days a week, a VR DK2. Every bloody demo that dropped, I would play it and archive it. I still have all that stuff, and I would play it in front of an audience, and I'd do that. And so it was a lot of me putting myself out there at the same time juggling, a 0-year-old and what all the fun that comes with new parenthood and all that. And so we decided to try to, our modus operandi was like share as much as we can. So we shared our kids on stream. The only thing we didn't share was, Zim's address, because I'm always worried about, swatting and that type of thing being a real deal for a family.
Yeah. So
I've always been very protective of that. But aside from that, man, everything goes out there. Like the emotions, real life world events, everything from celebrations to tragedies, we share it. Myself, my wife, we've both been on it. We used to do co-streaming, all that kind of stuff. So you asked about the landscape, and back then there were very few creators who were doing anything on a regular basis. The one who I would shout out is Cymatic Bruce. He had a great kind of regular show back then. But aside from Bruce, who later took a job with first, I think, AltSpace, and then later Oculus, which became Facebook and Meta. I don't know anyone else who's been streaming since then who's still streaming. So I think it's a fair statement for me to say I'm the longest running streamer, on the planet. Twitch we did for a long time until 2019, and then I realized that Twitch wasn't, taking things in VR very seriously.
No.
Didn't look like it was going to go well with the Amazon acquisition. And honestly, ever since then, they've just been stealing that purple heart soul. Like bleed purple all the way. I love Twitch. I love what it is. It was my place of, origin. But man, it's just not right. So. No. Yeah, but the landscape was very exciting, to put that in. Like, I mean, I threw up a Reddit post on my first show. I went from like 40 followers to 400 in that first stream. And Elite Dangerous had gone down. I'd paid the $80 or whatever for early entry to it. And I was like, I literally cried in the headset. Like, that was my first experience with Elite Dangerous in VR and the DK2. And I had people in chat who were still with the show, still follow along, 9 years later. And they were helping me get the drivers installed and configure stuff. So as I said, it's really a two-way street. Like, I get as much out of it as my audience does. And it's just a family. And it has been since then. I love it.
That is so great. And, like you just very casually mentioned as you kind of started to tell this story that you're like, oh, yeah, it's only when I lived in the Caribbean. And like, and then when I lived in London, and like, oh, now you're in Canada. Like, what is going on, dude? You are like a world traveler. Like, where were you born? And like, how many places have you lived?
Yeah, so my father worked in the oil industry. He was an Irish guy who got into the U.S. actually illegally. He overstayed a visa and then got lucky because his deportation officer was like was the same guy who he was on the train with coming from the airport or whatever back then. And they'd shared a story for like an hour, and then several months later, he's like sitting in this guy's office. He's expecting to get deported from the country, and the guy's like, "Welcome to the United States." So that's a great intro story. I always shout out to my dad.
Wow,
he's
cool.
He's amazing. He's a badass. And then about my mom, who's like the most straight-edged woman ever, and I'm a lot like that. I'm very straight-edged and kind of simple in my way, is very vanilla, but. Their combination, I was born in Cleveland. I was Cleveland, Ohio. So I'm not too far now from where I was born. But then every 2 to 3 years I'd move because my dad worked for the oil industry. So I was in Delaware, Ohio. After that, I was in Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska, about 10 years old, growing up in the cold, walking on glaciers and that kind of thing, skiing and all that kind of stuff for just 2 years. And then we went to St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands in the Caribbean. And so I spent my formative years, probably 10 to 15, just growing up on an island, surrounded by people who, most of which weren't white. So I feel quite uncomfortable in situations where I'm in a homogenous environment. Like Scotland for me wasn't right. London felt great because it's like a nice mixing pot of like everybody in all these cultures. But when I'm in and everyone's like just doing the same goddamn thing, I'm like, this doesn't feel right. So when I was in Ireland after the Caribbean, which is where my dad's folks were, and I did my secondary and third level education there, and then went and did an electronic engineering degree. Ireland is a bit insular, and so I knew I had to get out. But because of September 11th and all that stuff, they'd canceled all the student programs that would send budding engineers to like Massachusetts and New York or whatever. And the only place outside of Ireland they were sending people was London. So that's how I ended up in London. And I decided, after doing some like Visual Basic for applications and weather forecasting for the Irish power grid, I decided that I was like falling asleep at the desk kind of thing. I was like, I am not a programmer. Yeah. I need to do something else. And so I got into project management. And so that's what I've kind of been doing on a professional career basis for the last 16 years with one company. And at some point I decided it's time to put my face on the web. And so I did that. I did a review of some MiFi device on YouTube and had a YouTube account for ages. So when I moved the stream over to YouTube in 2019, it wasn't new to me. Like, I had done 10 years of various compilations for the gaming community that I was running called Spider Gaming. And I used to do things like DayZ and, as I said, Quake and Battlefield and all these FPSs and stuff like that. And then inevitably I ended up in VR, and I can't get away from it. It is a passion that just drives me, and I never get fed up. And when people say VR isn't doing so well, I just laugh and smirk and go back to the Steam library or Quest library or App Store or PlayStation, or there's too much out there.
There was like another VR is dead article that came out like 3 days ago.
There always will be.
It's so hilarious.
I'm sure that maybe that guy wrote it from within VR too, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No, it's not going anywhere. It just isn't. Period. You know what I mean? There's lulls. And there is in every single industry, especially when it's summer and you got to put something on your face and people are hot and not everyone has central AC, right? So like, just because there's, a slower time does not mean it's dead. But clickbait, people click on
and
stuff.
flows, right?
Yeah.
Ebbs and flows.
Yeah. All of you guys click on it.
2018, so.
Don't click those articles, people.
Don't click them. Don't share them either. If you want to share it, take a screenshot of it and share that. That way no one clicks through and they don't get the clicks from it.
That's what Nathan did.
Good. That's the way to do it, man.
Yep.
Don't let those people get the clicks.
Screenshot it, or what was the trick?
Yeah, screenshot it so people can't click through to the article and they can't get the clicks because it's clickbait. That's all it is. They're looking to capitalize on you going, what? Huh? The thing I love, the most transformative technology in the world is dead? No, man,
but here's
humanity's
the thing,
not
though.
that stupid.
Like, our community is still what I would consider somewhat intimate, right? Like, we're not millions and millions and millions of people who are like, how dare you say VR is dead? Like, it's got to be still a relatively small network of people who care, right? So, like, how many clicks could they possibly be getting? Like,
I don't know. I don't care. One is enough. I don't support terrorism.
Do you guys feel this way? Like, I mean, when this all started to happen and we moved from like knowing our one reality to, I can now step into as many as I like. Like, how often does that happen? In the course of time, our timeline, like that, and it only happens once, as far as I can tell. So to live this and to be old enough to appreciate it and to have, the rest of it have happened before, what a precious thing for all of us to go through. Like, we are bloody lucky. We are the luckiest, I think, that you can be to be a VR, to be a tech nerd and like fringe technology and to be able to live it, not to like in 60 years time have the perfect device and look back and go like, but to appreciate life without it and now life with this added.
Yeah, there was hundreds and hundreds of years and parts of time where there wasn't really any technological advancement that was even notable, right? Like, there were generations that would go by that everything was the same. Yep. And in our generation, we're able to now put something over our eyes and explore different realities with people from all over the world, sharing what feels like the same space, but at the same time, we now all have little supercomputers in our pockets. We're interconnected over this World Wide Web, and we have real life artificial intelligence. Like no other generation of people, no other time frame has ever been like this, and it's so exciting.
To Zim's point, we are so lucky to have been in the rare bubble where we know life without it. There's only a small chunk of people who like know life before, life after, and can appreciate it. Like grandma who's 90 years old, like, basically waiting to kick the bucket right now. Like, yes, she's technically here, but she's not an enthusiast, like to like be involved and connected with it and to have appreciated life without this stuff and now appreciating it with it. We really are lucky. That's such a good point, Tim.
Man, so much. I am thankful every day that this is the time that I am here on this planet.
Yep.
So
well, I'm going to say, guys, I'm thankful that we've managed to get together and talk this way. Like, it was nice meeting up in person and all that, but as a fan of Between Realities for many years now, I'm just glad to finally be able to come along. And I just want to say what you guys have been doing is great. I think exposing the personalities in VR and all the developers and all the content creators and the people who go unsung, the unsung heroes behind the scenes who are spirited advocates of this whole medium. You guys do a fantastic job, and I try to catch every episode I can.
Thank you so much. We really, really appreciate that. And I feel, again, thankful that we're able to provide a platform because, it's very rare, like, that you can, we just talked about all these technological advancements that have happened in our time. And before this, you weren't able to just broadcast something. Like, you had to be, in with Hollywood or, some TV stations and or on radio and really have a voice. And now we can just fire up a live broadcast and talk about our passions, and it's amazing. And there's so many amazing people that are involved in this industry. VR is one of those strange things where it's a completely game-changing and species-changing technology that people haven't discovered yet, even to now, because you have to put the thing on to do it, right? But either way, I'm so I am enthralled by so much about this industry, and for all of I want to know everyone in it. I want to know all the people that are involved with making the thing that I love, with sharing the thing that I love. I just want to know everything about everyone, and I'm so glad that we're able to
absolutely
to help with that.
The best part about this as well is that it is a very sticky technology, and I mean that in this way. If tomorrow Meta packed up shop and Sony closed their doors and Tim Cook said, feck it, nah, we're shutting down. We're not going to do it. We're canceling. Tinkerers in this community would build that equipment, and we would still be running it, and we would still be jacking in.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it is so transformative. I love what you said about it, Skiba. This is such a change. It's an evolution for us, and I look forward to the day that I'm so deeply immersed in it that you can kind of just go wherever you want. Just say it, just think it, and you're there. And you're there with your friends across the world, across boundaries. And able to connect with people you never would have met in your normie life.
Yeah, and spend time with those people and build relationships and really become how hard was it before to meet someone on the other side of the world and become genuine friends with some of these people? You had to have pen pals.
Yeah,
there would be weeks in between communication, right? Now it's hey dude, how are you? And virtual high fives, and you're hanging out and you're exploring virtual worlds. And what you were just saying about being able to just speak it and live it. We are going to see that. At first, I wasn't 100% sure that.
At least I will. I don't know about you turning 44.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but we're seriously about to be able to speak realities into existence with artificial intelligence and things, and being able to generate things on the fly with text and our voice and whole existences. It is truly going to be like the holodeck. It's so nutty.
Bro, earlier Zim said something along the lines of we've never before been able to just enter multiple new realities.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about from the technology that's available, that is an absolutely true statement. But this is the technology of our dreams. And I mean that literally. Dreams are your mind going into new realities, and hallucinations are your mind going into new realities. So dreams and hallucinations are something that are truly profound, have been a huge part of the human experience for a long time, and this is like a dream machine.
Yeah.
It is it's like taking LSD in a piece of technology, and that is just so mind-blowing to me. That to me is hands down the ultimate potential of this tech, is being able to master that ability of basically mastering lucid dreaming, but without having to do any of the training. You just pop a headset on and you're good to go.
Wild, man. Wild. It's 2023.
Yeah.
And I can't even believe it.
Living in the future, gentlemen. Things could be worse.
They absolutely could.
So, Zim, you have been on the F.Reality podcast for some years, right? Like the original lineup consisted of you, Rowdy Guy, both of you guys still on the show, and then Nate in our chat and Mike from Virtual Reality Oasis. And that is pretty awesome. Eventually, somewhere along the line, Mike and Nate were like, all right, we're going to dip. Do you want to tell us a little bit about kind of how that went down? And, maybe you can start from the top and like how the podcast formed up, and then like how you ended up kind of taking the reins.
Yeah, sure. So we started actually as VR Inside, and it was an idea that I still to this day believe germinated from some of the conversations that Nathan and I used to have around the time that there was a podcast running called the VR Spies. For those who were around at the time, it was a great cast. It was kind of the Slipknot of VR, like fucking loads of members. The longest standing member of that would be Don, VR Gamer dude.
Nice.
And I remember at that time, I mean, Nathan and I would talk about once every 6 months. He was the kind of top guy in YouTube, and I was the top guy in Twitch in the VR scene at the time. So we would get together and just shoot the breeze for sometimes 4 hours straight. And so at one point he was really kind of chewing on the idea of doing a podcast, and that led to VR Inside, which had a guy called Prometheus, I believe is his name, and I'm trying to remember his real life name, but along with Rowdy, Mike, Nathan, and Frank, PSVR Frank. And so there was a 5-way cast, and that started things off. And then a little bit down the way, that kind of evolved, right? And so they were looking for new blood to come in, and I knew Nathan for a while. I'd met Mike as I was out at OC4 with the Windlands team doing kind of consulting work with them, hanging out in California, and we just bumped shoulders. And Mike was kind of finding his way into the back room and stuff where the BBC were, and it was kind of funny times. And then they just kind of extended a hand, and I think it was probably mostly Nathan. I didn't know Rowdy at all at the time. And they said, hey, do you want to hop on with the podcast? And I said, yeah, sure, but I've got a few points of feedback. And one of the points of feedback was, your name is terrible. VR Inside, no one's going to ever remember that. We got to change that. So, as a prerequisite to me joining, we need to change the name. And then it took us 5 months in so many iterations.
Naming is the hardest thing to do.
The name.
It is so hard to name something, man.
It really is.
Like I could make my video game character in 5 minutes and make him look exactly what I want, and then I get to the name and I'm like, oh no, I'm stuck here.
Yeah, naming a kid, naming a podcast, it's always a pain in the ass. But the amount of times that we had 3 people lined up and not the 4th, and we were like, no, until we all agree with it, we're not gonna do it. And so we ended up on F.Reality and settling on that. And so we had a good number of years together. I'm trying to remember how many now, but probably.
What does F.Reality mean, by the way? Like what?
We left it open-ended intentionally. I mean, I know what it means to me. It means feck reality. Yeah. That's what it means.
Yeah.
And you're open to fill that F in with whatever you like. But we started off with a real kind of Matrix punk kind of feel and vibe, this mint green color that was all over everything we were doing at the time, and really kind of like off that final scene in the Matrix where Neo shoots up into the sky in that kind of rebellious state. Like that was the spirit of F.Reality starting, and we just wanted to do something where we could talk, we could be ourselves. And the reason, one of the main reasons I joined the podcast was to have good, solid debate with somebody who, at the time, I was like, Nathan was taking lots of flack from the environment. I didn't know who Mike was. He was a small fish at the time. And we were just like, I kind of wanted to have conversations that would be, stemming on argumentative, where we would actually have good dialogue and we wouldn't be nodding at each other or whatever, but, we'd get under the skin of things. And we ended up doing that. And we formed a brotherhood that was very close-knit. Love the guys. They all have wonderful characteristics. And at some point, because the load of the podcast is in the various roles that we've undertaken over the years, it's quite heavy. Mike at some point was like, this is too much. And obviously it's not making earnings, right? It's not making money. So if you're in it for full time, that's one of the drivers to kind of go off and do something else, right? And so Mike's got some other projects that I know are lucrative now, but we still talk on occasion. And same thing with Nathan. He's my skooma brother. Both big fans of Skyrim and Skooma Dungeons and all that kind of stuff. But those guys were like brothers, very, very close to one another. So Mike was dipping out. He was going to go. And I said to Rowdy, I was like, all right, Rowdy, this can go one of two ways, right? We either pack up shop or we find some talent. And honestly, I scoured the web for a couple of weeks, and I found two candidates that I thought were fitting and brought in the things that we as a team of four had always talked about over the years that we wanted to go after. I mean, we were four white guys. We didn't want to be just that forever. We wanted to prop up other voices and to actually give a platform. I was like, look, guys, we need to get ready for the time that even we step away at some point in the future. I'd like this vehicle to continue. Let's find the people who are the best rock stars who fit under the F.Reality brand. And so we found two kick-ass individuals. I mean, we've got Adam Bombati, who...
Peep the mug, people. Peep the mug.
You got the mug?
Skiva, give me a close-up here.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Peep the mug. It's an Adam Bombati mug. If you don't have it, you're not as cool as us.
Yeah, she's an incredible worker. I mean, I thought I was maniacal when it comes to detail and all that, but man, from the thumbnails she's done to everything, even the first interview that we had with her, it was just amazing. So shout to Adam.
So earlier you mentioned when you were living in the Caribbean, you're in this or not in the Caribbean, in where in
Caribbean,
so you're in the Caribbean.
Islands.
You got used to not being in this homogenous culture, and do you think that is once you had the ability to kind of go out and choose who was going to be on the podcast, that became that was obviously something that was important to you? Let's not have this so homogenous.
Yeah, and Rowdy and I are both this way. We are fire-bellied we are not about quota or quotient or any of that bullshit. Sorry. But we do want to have that same kind of fighty, cross-the-table dialogue, right? Mm-hmm. With people who aren't shy, who are open, and who represent a different corner than what we had before. I mean, before we had four gamers, right? And that's a very different thing. Now we've got industry and kind of creativity in that corner. Jose, who you had on a couple of podcasts ago as well. And again, shout to everybody, all the BR fans who haven't caught up with the Adam Bombati or Jose Santiago episodes. Jose the VR Tech. I mean,
and Rowdy's been on too. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's I actually didn't know Rowdy had been on. I'll have to go check that episode myself. That's excellent. So I'm the last one.
Two, I think.
Last one standing.
Technically, we haven't gotten Mike yet. I bug him. I bug him every season. Every season, I'm like, "Hey, Mike, what's up, man? Are you gonna come be on my show by now, or what? What do I gotta do?"
He says, but it's not bugging him. So
and then we found Jose. Those were the two that literally they were the first ones, and I just reached out to him with a simple message. It was something along the lines of, "Hey, got any interest in becoming a VR personality? We've got a platform. If you're interested, take a look." And I bounced it off Rowdy, and Rowdy's like, I love Rowdy because he's incredibly succinct. He's not verbose like me. And I'm like, "Hey, what do you think about these two?" And in about 5 minutes, he turns around and is like, "Go for it," or something like that. Nice. And so I reached out to them, did an interview, and was like, "These guys look like the perfect fit." And lo and behold, they have been. They really, really have been. They in the last year that we've had, keeping the podcast going and reforging as a team. They've been fantastic partners. We've had some great dialogue and some good battles as well, and that's important for a tasty podcast. So,
nice. Does it feel good to be able to wrangle the control of the show from Mike? Because I know he ran a pretty tight ship when he was the front man of F.Reality, and now that you are, I guess, the front man of F.Reality, does it feel good to have that kind of creative freedom and to push the show in the directions that you like?
I wouldn't at all say it like that. The way I would say is, as you rotate from one role of responsibility to the next, I like to take those on as, how do I make my mark or take my time? When I was running releases, for example, trying to look for really odd indie things that would have entertainment value. For me, everything's about entertainment. It's kind of entertainment first, and news and info really is a second part, because comedy wins in the end of the day, and people like to see stuff that is unique and they've never had an opportunity before. So being a bit of sieve for that stuff was important to me. So I've put my own mark on it, but I think Mike did us a great service in the years that he ran the podcast, and he ran it really well. And no one can replace Mike's wonderful accent in his voice. I missed that from the podcast for sure. Being a half Irish, half American guy, I don't stand a chance. His dulcet tones and all that are certainly missed. But what I like about it is, and again, I don't view myself as frontman at all. Rather, I would like to put forward the talent that we've found and put that in the spotlight, right? And let them sing, right? I might be able to riff the track and have them bounce off of it in a while, but my job on F.Reality is really simple. It's trawl the web for fun and interesting news, not belabor stuff that's boring or mundane, or dragging us down a hole of negativity. And meanwhile, do that. Be ready for my own departure one year. That might be a year from now. That might be 20 years from now. I don't know. I'm stuck so deep into this stuff, but I do have a passion for the show we put on. And I think once you've got that, and it's a community and it's a habit, it's hard to see something like that die off. And I'll just give one little shout. We spent a lot of time, getting an intro together, kind of like yourselves, right? You put a lot of effort into that. But one thing I found out in the middle of all of that, which is an interesting little nugget of fact, we had to find the same guy who had done our previous F.Reality intro, and then pitched a storyboard and the ideas and all these kinds of stuff, did a lot of the artwork. And then lo and behold, when it came time to pay the guy, I realized he was smack in the front in Ukraine.
No way.
While all the fighting's happening. And I'm like, dude, whatever I can do to send more work your way, I'm going to do it. Stay alive, and thank you so much. But he has clearly imbued that into that trailer of ours, and it is phenomenal. It's a piece of art. And
it literally is.
Cherish it.
It's beautiful.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's as badass as we all want to be. And I want to make those people on my on the cast, total rock stars. I think they are. And if you've met any of them in real life, you'll probably feel the same as I do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Yeah, you've got
Amazing
a great squad
people.
there. You know, I definitely appreciate who you ended up choosing to kind of fill the gaps in the lineup, and it's still a great show. I mean, everybody knows the F.Reality podcast, and I think you guys are doing a good job of carrying the torch. And I mean, I can relate so much to a lot of the stuff that you were saying, just about like once you get into it and like you get up and running, like, I don't want to stop doing this. You know what I mean? Like, this feels great. It's so much fun. Every Friday we have this like awesome thing to look forward to and participate in. And being a show that has a weekly guest really gives us an opportunity to like not even have to worry too much about like what we're gonna talk about. Like Skiba does a good job of like compiling a few notes and like making sure we have a couple of talking points. If conversation dries up, we can be like, well, hey, did you see what happened this week? Like that kind of thing. But we almost never have to rely on that, because the guest brings such a different energy to our conversation, and we have questions for that person. Like we want to know, like, you're Zimtok5. Like, we need to know how you got into this. We want to know what your thoughts are on this or that. And the conversation just happens so naturally. So it's like easy, kind of, like once we've gotten up and running and like you got the ball rolling, it's way easier to just like keep it rolling and keep contributing than it is, I don't know, throw the brakes on it, because I'm having fun. I'm not trying to, like, who are you gonna replace me with? You can't.
Soon I will be able to just type your, or not even type your stuff, just put a little video AI Alex over there. Give him your personality. No, you're irreplaceable.
And so are you.
Irreplaceable.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing, because it's just the two of us. So like, I mean, it would be difficult, I think, to continue doing this if one of us was like, yeah, nah, I'm out of here. See you later. Bye.
Hey, Steve, just load up the Alex program. Yeah, I want to swing a red dress on him.
Dude, I'm a beautiful woman. All right, throw that out there. I've seen a couple of Photoshops in my day, and I'm like, wait a second, I'm like,
oh no,
why does that look good?
Oh, hey, man.
Rowdy guy dropping into the chat.
What's up, Rowdy? How are you?
See you, Rowdy.
Good to see you.
D1360 VR has been chilling with us as well. Thanks for dropping in. And Techno Glitch, of course, stopped in here too.
Hey there.
Mepper dropping in, saying hi, and also a $2 super chat from Virtual Steve.
Hey,
what's up, Virtual Steve? Thank you. And he says, "Who is Jim Barnaby?"
You want to know that story?
Well, I mean, I didn't, but since he paid $2, I guess we're going to listen to it.
So Jim is something that I think Nathy accidentally called me on F.Reality at some point. So that's where Jim came from.
Oh.
And it's obviously Jim and Zimmer close, right? And then Barnaby is a hilarious story in that I was fighting Sony for a refund on Hitman 3 after the implementation was just so god awful. I had streamed it for, I don't know, an hour and a half or something. And I'm like, guys, I just paid 50 quid for this. I want my money back. And they're like, they're very well known for not doing refunds. So it's like, you buy it, that's it, tough luck. But I fought them for like 4 months. And one of the messages back from customer service, my first name, by the way, in real life is Bradford. So,
Bradford.
Sadly, it's Bradley and I do sword fight on occasion over the Brad title.
Nice.
But it's they wrote me back and they addressed me. They said, "Dear Barnaby." And so that's where Barnaby comes from.
Wow.
I don't know where the heck that
Barnaby.
came from. That's not a common name. Like,
instead of Bradford, it was Barnaby. They're like, it's not Brad, it's something else. It's something weird. And then they just Barnaby Jones.
All right.
Yeah, so Jim Barnaby is my official iRacing name, and it's my kind of pseudonym and stuff. So tough enough to keep up with the Zim and the Zimtok5 and all that stuff, but yeah,
speaking of names and stuff, what is Zim? How did you come up with Zimtok5?
I know the answer to this.
Oh,
I'm gonna let him tell it.
I want to test your knowledge here.
Alex, interesting.
Go on.
I know the answer to this, don't you?
Fire away.
Okay, well, here's the thing. There is a classic comic strip by the name of Calvin and Hobbes that everybody loves because it's fantastic. And literally, like, if you've ever read the Sunday Funnies, like, nothing holds a candle to Calvin and Hobbes. I'm not even kidding you. You will enjoy it. Read it. It's good. But anyway, in Calvin and Hobbes, Calvin is a little boy and he has a very vivid imagination. And as such, he often embodies a lot of these different characters that his imagination dreams up. And one of his characters who he becomes is Spaceman Spiff. And Spaceman Spiff has all kinds of intergalactic adventures, goes to different planets and encounters different alien beings. And one of the planets that he goes to is called Zimtok5, and that's where the name comes from.
Well, all right, I guess you're correct.
That is some memory.
In fact, he didn't even read Calvin and Hobbes. Bradford did not even read Calvin and Hobbes, and it was his buddy who suggested the name to him, and he said, "You know what? That's cool. I'll take it."
Yeah, my friend in when I was like 9 years old, maybe 10 or 11, he went by Zimtok 3. And I randomly chose Zimtok5. I didn't even know it was in the comic strip. I didn't read Calvin and Hobbes. I was just following the coattails of my buddy. I'm just a guy who, like, I had a few other names, kind of funky names throughout my teens. Mr. Z was one of them. I think Macbeth was another one, but
have you ever had a different name?
Zimtok5 as that was my original name, so I just decided to stick with it.
So apparently we don't need guests anymore either. We can just ask Alex about
what else you want to know.
Today we're talking about this person. They don't even have to be here.
You got good bloody memory, man. Good job.
Thank you. Well,
that was pretty good.
It was important to me. It was
and to answer your question now, I've always
you've been in Skiva like ever since you've had an opportunity to use a username.
Pretty much middle school, or I think it was middle school.
What was your username on MSN Messenger?
Skiva.
Jeez. AOL Messenger. You're Skiva.
Yep.
ICQ. You're Skiva.
Wait, ICQ is a bunch of numbers, I think. Wasn't ICQ numbers?
It was like a chat room that had like rectangular avatars.
Yeah, I remember, but like I could have sworn you were in numbers. I don't know. Either way, always been Skiva.
That's so interesting. Yeah. My name has definitely changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say you must go through many coats of paint.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've since realizing that I wanted to like make content and like, put myself on the internet, to use your expression, I have changed everything to Alex. for the simple fact that I never wanted to have to like reintroduce myself. Like if you know me as Alex from reading the content, you'll know like, it's Alex. We don't have to do this whole song and dance. But it took me like weeks to land on Alex VR. But either way, my last username was Mobjects. Mobjects.
Pretty cool.
Which is a shortened version because of Nintendo Switch's character limit of math objects. And math objects is an expression that refers to like the like what numbers look like and like the like shapes and stuff, like squares and rectangles and squares, and it's a reference to like Plato and Socrates, like ancient Greek philosophy, where they talk about like the nature of reality and what is more real than other things. Like their whole idea is something that lasts longer is more real than something that doesn't. That's why dreams are less real than what we're experiencing now, because they don't last, they're not persistent, we don't share them, but they are real because they happen. And above this reality that we're experiencing right now is where math objects exist, because math objects are perfect and eternal in a way that this is not. Like this is an ever-changing like amalgamation of all this weird stuff, but a square is 4 90-degree angles, period. Always and forever, perfect and eternal. So Mobjects is a shortened version of math objects, which is a reference to that.
And it could also mean rejects from the mob. Yeah. So.
Yes, and that's probably what most people think it is when they see that.
It's like, didn't quite make the cut. Yeah, had to swim with the fishes.
Yeah. But when I started playing Firewall, I played for, I don't know, probably a year or two, like every day. Yeah. And Mobjects was my name until I started streaming. So like all my Firewall squad was calling me Mob, and I went by Mob for like a good like year and a half. You know, of like PlayStation VR until Alex VR was born and never looked back. But like on Nintendo still, like I'm pretty sure, oh no, it's Alex VR. It's pretty much Alex VR everywhere at this point. I think I've changed my name pretty much across the board.
Driving license?
Yeah, driver's well, no, that still says Mobjects.
Oh, that's funny.
But my wife is in the chat. She says the real one's no Mobjects. That's right.
What's up, Brittany? How are you?
Hello, dear.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, and Arcanian's here too. He said I've been stalking Zim. Maybe just a little bit.
What's up, Arcanian?
Maybe just a little bit.
Arcanian over there at Cluj Interactive, which
I always forget that.
Yeah, which I gotta say, man, Synth Riders is one of those games. There are a few games in VR. Like there are games that I play that I love, and I play them, and then they kind of. I don't play them much anymore. Synth Riders, I just keep coming back to, and I play it all the time.
Do you really?
I really do.
Wow.
Yeah, I've played it every day for some time. I mean, the past couple days I've been jamming on it, and you know they let you make your own playlists and stuff, which is awesome. And they keep releasing new music, and there's something about the people who pick the music at Cluj that I just jam with that music, man. That's just my kind of music.
Is that a little John Lennox up in there?
Oh, John Lennox.
No, not in our chat.
Oh, I don't know.
Like
I wonder. Yeah,
music industry connections.
I don't know who picks it. I mean, you would think maybe Itaru did originally, right? But I don't know.
It's got to be John, man.
Yeah.
That's one of those games that's like as smooth as it looks in the trailer.
Yeah.
Very, very seldom do we get games that play as like liquid smooth as they look in a mixed reality or a standard kind of definition trailer. But absolutely. Synth Riders it deserves its place, it deserves a bit of fame.
And if Zim is saying it, it's real, because Zim plays everything. In fact, if you were to be so inquisitive as to check out some of his links, like you check out like his pinned tweet, he has all of his links up there. One of those links is this Google Sheets document with 1,600 VR titles on it, and they're I mean, well, maybe not. Maybe it's not 1,600. I jumped to the gun here, but there's
no. It is.
Is it really? Like, where's the list?
1,600.
Oh my god! Oh my god! You're right. 1,600 VR titles, all with a verdict, the platform that they came on, the date, and then like a quick remark. And you could just like quickly glance at this document to get an understanding of what Zim thought about it, and this is comprehensive. Like here's Breachers VR. What's the verdict? Buy it. Second best FPS in VR, first being Firewall and PSVR 1. Just do it. Like, do you need to hear anything else?
This is impressive.
It's
this is
pretty
really awesome.
intense, man.
Yeah.
Like, so is this something that you just like? Because I've never seen this before, so it's obviously not like a website that you're pushing or anything. Like, you just like add to this just like as a fun little project, or what's the inspiration for this?
It's really just an archive of like in the early days, I was doing a variety of different VR titles, and if you go back, there's another tab in that document. There's a whole bunch of things there. It's basically, if you go to reviews.zimtok5.com, you get everything from me, including VR, horror films, Switch games, that kind of stuff. It's a single repository for like what I think on the chronology of what I've played. And so started off with the DK2, and that really, I hadn't started the review process yet until after the first like 220 titles or so. And then I kicked in this like 12-point review grid that was like, is it tactile? You know, does it have story elements? Like, what makes up a good VR game? And we had these 12 tenets of VR, and I used to rate all the games on those 12 bases. And then after some time, we evolved it. We said, look, we want to simplify it, and I want to give a bit of context behind these scores, but we still keep this kind of simple 3-score review method, which is really simple. Avoid, consider, and buy. And buy tends to be like the top 10 to 15%. Consider aren't bad, but if you aren't a fan of the genre, might not be for you. And avoid stuff is things that are basically broken, or maybe shouldn't be on the store, or should be avoided, you know, and I don't give that out very often. So there's a big swath that considers and buy and avoid, and it's meant to help guide and help people who are new to VR, or people who think, you know, they come in, they play everything that's on the store, and unfortunately the VR storefronts, Steam's not good for it, fucking Meta's awful for it. After the first month or two, the thing disappears into the ether and you can't find those titles. So if you need a really easy, you know, list to be able to pick some ideas from, it's right there. That was the idea.
Boom. Well, it's great, man. This is very comprehensive. So, man.
Skiva, I want you to find a hot take in here. Like, what do you just absolutely disagree with?
Oh, jeez. I don't know. I'd have to look through. On my screen right now, it's a little small. It's hard for me to like read it here.
I know one. Yeah. I'm trying to remember the name of it now. What was the game right about when you were getting into Ghost of Tabor? You and I think Eric from Q2C really despised this indie game, which would jump you in a colorful, almost friendly environment, almost looking like a Simpsons kind of environment, and would jump you from thing to thing.
What the bat?
What the bat? There we go. What the bat? Let's have a good batting session over that then.
So you're
not a fan, right?
He's not. Does it say recommend on your list here for What the Bat?
I don't remember. I might have. It's either a consider or a buy for me. But I really enjoy indie stuff if it's short and sweet.
I like indie stuff too. I do. A lot.
Yeah.
So, you know, but
again, we don't have to like push and pull on that one.
Yeah.
But I'll give one recommendation to the audience. Just a recent one that hit the Rift store. So Meta's desktop PC VR platform, called the Utility Room, which is bizarre. And if you like a Lost Highway, a David Lynch movie or something.
Oh, the Lost Highway. Oh, you got me interested. Let's go.
Then you might like the Utility Room, which is a bizarre, monochrome, art house style VR experience that goes bananas. It's got some game elements to it, but man, it's not what you would expect it to be. If you remember Paper Beasts, and if you enjoyed that being a real interesting kind of 6-hour kind of art project, maybe not for your FPS lover or something like that, but if you're into really proper indie stuff, the Utility Room does some amazing things.
Well,
in the end, you will be like gobsmacked
on Steam.
What is this? So,
is it on Steam?
It's on Meta's store.
Oh, Meta. Oh, Rift. So, right, you said that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So I am 1,000% going to play this now, because if you are going to compare anything to David Lynch, then I am 1,000,000% on board.
Dude, that guy.
Yeah.
I actually got in David Lynch before I realized he was a director.
Yeah.
Because he's talking about a lot of this like ocean of consciousness stuff, and he's like very like enlightened perspective that he shares publicly. And I got into that before I even knew that guy made movies.
Dude, I used to rewatch his movies over and over again, like The Lost Highway and Mulholland Drive, and like just a bunch of his movies. They're just because they're movies that you can watch many times and continue to evolve your conclusion on what's happening, what they're trying to express, like what is going on in these movies. And there's very few movies that you can really just talk for hours about after you watch them. And David Lynch is just the king of bringing you in these weird, wacky directions. And like, there's no black or white a lot of times with his stuff of what's like, there's no solid answer of what actually just happened. It's all very interpretive, which I love.
The characters will like the actors will literally change, and it's like, say there's Ryan, and Ryan is all of a sudden a different actor, and you're like, what's going on? So they are proper mind Fs. They're really flippy films. But like you, Skiva, I mean, I like that with my music as well. It's like I like stuff that if it's pop or something and I like it like the first time I listen to it, I will probably hate it by the end of the month. So having films or stuff that's
so you must
a bit of thought.
You must be a fan of the movie Naked Lunch, I would imagine.
I've never seen Naked Lunch.
Oh no, dude. Okay. Here's your assignment, Zim. You being a fan of movies and directors like David Lynch, you need to go watch Naked Lunch, and it may be the absolute pinnacle of that kind of movie.
Okay. Wolf Raza also mentioned that in the chat.
Oh, nice. Yep. Nice, Wolf Raza. Very cool. That movie is so wacky and just changes, and like there's just so many ways to interpret it. It's artistically amazing. It kind of leaves your brain feeling like someone just took an egg whisk to it.
Nice.
It is up there with the top of those types of movies. So,
Juggers just mentioned the utility room is on Steam as well. That's good.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I forgot.
Good.
It is actually there. Good. So for index users or whatever,
nice.
That makes it easy.
Dude,
someone's dropped a Paper Beast key.
Yeah, chat is just popping off. Mickyberr dropped a Paper Beast Steam key, which I think Paper Beast released as a PSVR exclusive. So
I believe so.
That's pretty sweet. If you didn't scoop it up, because if you didn't have a PlayStation VR, it looks like Chatty grabbed it. Nice job, Chatty.
Cool.
Also,
thanks, Mickyberr.
Chroma Snare mentioned Twin Peaks. That's obviously
Walk with Me.
Yeah, it's obviously the most famous of David Lynch's
shows, but the movie, man, wow. Twin Peaks and Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, absolutely phenomenal. Man, so good. Now I want to go watch David Lynch movies.
I know. What
man?
I always want to go do whatever it was that we were talking about.
I know.
Like we talk about something on the show. It's like, I know what I want to do now.
I've walked through a couple of the famous scenes from some of his movies in VR, and it's just always been like, nice. Oh man, it's almost like scary. You're like, David Lynch is about to get into my brain and start kicking things around.
He's a weirdo, by the way. I don't know if you follow him, on social media, but he does weird stuff.
Yeah, I would imagine. Look at his movies.
He got me through the pandemic, right? With his and it's Friday once again.
Yeah, that's all he says. Every Friday's like, it's Friday, and posts it.
Oh man, he's wild. Wild stuff. Yeah. I love it.
All right, so listen up, gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen,
yes,
and however you identify in the audience,
I'm listening.
We're starting to get close to the end. Believe it or not, we're getting close to the conclusion of today's amazing virtual reality focused broadcast. But before we get there, I did want to ask Zim if there's anything that he thought was important or worthwhile, or that he wanted to get into or talk about or ask that we haven't really had a chance to do so far. While we have a little bit more time to do so. So is there anything that you wanted to get into, or something you wanted to mention, or something you think is important that's happening in the landscape that we should unpack a little bit? Just bouncing the ball into your court, sir.
I suppose the only thing that I would say is no matter if you're, just a fan of VR, or you're someone who's making stuff, or you're a dev who's knuckling down, even if you can't give VR everything you have, and you have to be, like I've been for 9 years, a part-timer, I'm sticking it out and kind of staying with the ride as it goes. Man, it's a bloody good ride. So sitting where I am, right after these 9 years invested and a little bit more than that, I think it's been well worth it. And I would be remiss to have missed any of this, and in particular, the people. I mean, this community, it's been said and echoed again and again. But now that I've kind of replanted myself, unplugged from Scotland and all that, and replanted myself in North America, having to, proactively learn who's over here and kind of implant myself with this community. It's been great. So I got to thank and shout out to everybody. I won't name names, but thanks to everybody who's been as welcoming as my Canadian fellows who've put their arms around me virtually and all that. We took some losses this year, and I'm sure that won't be the end of that story. But man, this ride, this is special. It's a special damn ride. It's a really great time. These are two great hosts, and I know we've got more ahead of us. More
Absolutely.
seasons, guys. Bring us more interesting folks to see.
Absolutely. Well, there's no shortage of them. I guess that could be argued, but from where we're sitting, there's no shortage of amazing people to talk to and connect with. And
yeah, it's funny. My daughter the other day, oddly enough, was like, "Dad, what happens when you run out of people to bring her on your show?" I'm like, that'll never happen. That'll never happen. There's just too many amazing people in this industry. There's too many people constantly getting in that have these eye-opening VR moments, and they're like, okay, VR, let's go. That it's pretty much unlimited.
Totally.
Especially for a once-a-week show. So
totally. And I'll echo your sentiment a little bit there, Zim. I got addicted and enthralled and impassioned by this technology, and that's why I'm here. But that's why I started. But why I'm still here is because of this community. It went from me being obsessed and impassioned from the tech, which to a degree I still am, of course, but I'm way more obsessed and impassioned by this community. It's the people. Yep. We have amazing, incredible people in this VR community. And even though we're spread out literally all over the world, it feels like everybody is just my neighbor, and it feels like everybody who's a part of this is my best friend. And as these years continue to go on, it's these people, it's the VR community that when I think of those who are most important to me, it's them. You know what I mean? We don't have the luxury of having a local network here in Phoenix just full of VR enthusiasts. You know what I mean? And after Steve and I connected and kind of started doing the show and having all these guests on all the time, that is why I go to events. I go to events because I want to work them for my job, or I want to make content, or do whatever. But at the end of the day, I am there to hang out with people, because those are my peeps, those are my friends, those are my homies, and they are literally the people who I love. And it's so weird. Every now and then I have these realizations that I literally love this community. I have so much love in my heart for all of these people who share this passion and who are pushing this ball up the hill. And like you said, we'd say it all the time, but I really do think it bears repeating. And mainly what I'm doing by expressing this is living in gratitude. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be a part of this. And I have no intentions of slowing down or stopping this journey.
It's a good train to be on.
It really is.
Heck yeah, man.
And it's thanks to people oh yeah, thanks, bro. And it's thanks to people like you, Zimtok5, who have helped put VR in front of people and have spread the word. And I can only imagine how many people today are into VR as a result of the work that you directly have contributed to the content creation space. So thank you so much for being a part of all of this and for kind of leading the charge for us all. And, it's good to know that you're not going anywhere.
Oh, definitely not. Still here. Thanks, lads. Appreciate it a lot.
Thank you, Zimtok5. You are the man. This was awesome. An absolute pleasure. And we will see you very soon.
See you, buddy. Thanks.
Say goodbye to Zimtok5, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye, Zim. Bye.
And there he goes.
And he's gone.
And he's gone.
Just like that. Wolf Raza in the chat saying, smartest community I've ever found in my life. Y'all understand at least half of what I say. That's huge for me. I have to dumb down every other conversation in my life.
That's amazing.
Thanks, Wolf Raza. That's pretty funny.
Love it.
Well, this has been another fantastic experience.
It has. It's been great.
This is cake, baby. This is cake.
Yep.
Yeah, we can do this all day.
I wish we could, man. I really do.
We could.
Yep.
We don't for y'all, for the record. Like, I could do a 3-hour podcast, no problem.
Yep.
Easy peasy.
Yep.
But to expect anyone to tune into a 3-hour podcast is a little insane. The fact that so many of you give us 90 minutes of your Friday every single week is like mind-boggling to me.
Yep.
So thank you all so much for watching or listening to our podcast. You know, we say this all the time. We would do it if our audience didn't grow at all. But the fact that you all are here doing this with us really does put the wind in our sails and makes it just more and more exciting and easier to do every week.
Absolutely does.
And speaking of that, I guess we're probably going to do it again next week.
We are. So you may notice the question mark on the monitor below me, and that's because we had something scheduled with a developer. It was very exciting. They were going to bring us some really good, exciting, fun new news. As things go in the development world, sometimes things get delayed. So we need to switch that podcast with someone else and then have them on just in a few more weeks. It will be worth it and it'll be awesome. In the meantime, we gotta make something happen.
This is the first I'm hearing of this, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, hey, Alex, guess what?
What?
He can't hit me if we're live on the air.
Okay.
So yes. So we're not positive who will be on next week's show, but don't you worry. It'll be a banger because they all are.
Well,
so.
I will say that this season is pretty much booked out. We have guests all the way until November, and there's some really awesome names on there. So to your point, you're right. It is going to be a banger.
Yep.
But I guess I got some work to do now. Get in touch with some people.
Yeah, we got to do a little switcherooski. But don't worry, it'll be worth it for all of us. I think. I mean, I know I'm excited for what these mystery guests will be bringing.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, everybody knew who the guest was going to be for a full week last week, so I think it's okay to keep everybody in the dark for this one.
Absolutely.
Sweet.
Come on back and see who it is.
Sweet. Well, what are you doing this weekend, Skiva?
I'm gonna go hang out with some family for my birthday.
Oh yeah,
and hang out with my daughter and my sister and my nephews and my mom, and we're gonna hang out, and I don't know,
family time.
It'll be cool. Yeah, and then we got in another 2 weeks we have Game On Expo, and then the week after that I'm going to Germany for Gamescom. Hopefully go hang out with some of the German friends over there, and then after that we're gonna leave Germany. We're gonna go hit England. London and wherever around, go visit some studios and go see some of the homies across the pond there. So we'll be running around. So there will be one missing episode in there somewhere during the Gamescom stuff. But there's
how many
lots
weeks
of stuff
away is
happening.
that?
That's 3 weeks away. Next weekend is regular stuff, and then after that is Game On, and then after that is Gamescom and traveling. And
if you don't mind, I will be blocking you on all social medias while you're at Gamescom.
Okay.
Just so that way I can get through my day.
Without the FOMO.
Yeah, I'm just trying to live my life, and if I know that you guys are over there ripping up Gamescom, and I'm just like over here in 117 degree heat, I'm going to be a little sad. So
oh man, I'm
going to be blocking you if that's
okay. You do what you got to do, man. But I'll be thinking about you.
All right. Well, hey, shout out Upload VR. Thank you guys for your support and for loving us. Shout out to our guest today, Zimtok5. Shout out to the chat who has joined us for our live episode. Mickyberr, my lovely wife, Brittany, Duggars K, Laszlo 216, Ryan B, Wolfraza, Technoglitch, Warmark, yeah. Jose, the VR tech, of course, from F.Reality Podcast, Mindjive, Chatty, scooping up that code out of the chat, Mizifier, Dean from Dean and Bren, Red/Ace and Arcanian, Soren, Chromasnare, right? Kyle Render up in there, dropping the super chatty. Virtual Steve as well. Rowdy Guy and Nathy, and man, dude, this has just been badass. Mepper, D1360 VR, Eric from Q2C VR Gamer up in the chat earlier today. Hussein X, DLG27. Thank you guys. Thank you all so much.
Thank you all for being here. We absolutely love you, as we always say.
And we will see you.
Though.
It is genuine. Yep. It's true. Yeah. Bears repeating. Oh, and getting things done. Thanks for being here also.
Yeah.
Mindjive, have a great week, everybody. And we will see you in a week with somebody.
All right.
That's that.
Cool.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.